Howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're saddling up and riding back in time, deep into the heart of the American Old West. This isn't a Hollywood movie. This is a true story pulled from the dusty pages of history. It's a tale of love, betrayal, and a thirst for revenge that burned hotter than the Texas sun. Get ready for the incredible saga of love and revenge on the prairie. Our story begins in the late 1860s, a time when the West was still wild, and life was as unpredictable as a dust storm. In a small, windswept town in Kansas lived a young woman named Ella Watson. Now, Ella wasn't your typical prairie damsel. She was tough, independent, and had a spirit as untamed as the land she called home. She could ride and shoot better than most men and ran her own small homestead with a fierce determination. Into this world rode a man named Jim Averil. Jim was a smooth talker, a charismatic homesteader with a quick smile and an even quicker wit. He'd come west seeking his fortune just like so many others. When Jim and Ella met, sparks flew instantly. He was drawn to her fiery independence, and she was captivated by his charm and ambition. It wasn't long before they were the talk of the territory, a true frontier power couple. They filed homestead claims right next to each other, planning to build a life and a ranch together. Their love story seemed written in the stars, a beacon of hope in a harsh and often unforgiving landscape. But the West was a place of powerful men, and not everyone was happy to see a woman like Ella succeeding. The biggest shadow was cast by a cattle baron named Albert Bothwell. Bothwell was a man who believed the open range was his personal kingdom. He ran thousands of cattle and saw small homesteaders like Ella and Jim as nothing more than pests, squatting on his grazing land. He particularly despised Ella, a woman who dared to stand up to him, who fenced off her land to protect her small herd from his massive one. He couldn't stand her defiance. The tension between the homesteaders and the cattle barons simmered like a pot ready to boil over. Bothwell began a smear campaign, spreading vicious rumors about Ella. He branded her a cattle rustler and far worse, trying to turn the whole community against her. He wanted her gone, one way or another. Jim, ever loyal, stood by Ella's side, defending her name and their shared dream against Bothwell's powerful influence. He wrote letters to the local papers, exposing Bothwell's bullying tactics. The conflict was escalating, and everyone in the region knew something had to give. One hot summer day in July 1889, the pot finally boiled over. Bothwell and a group of his ranch hands, fueled by whiskey and self-righteous anger, rode to Ella and Jim's homesteads. They found the couple working on their land, unarmed and unsuspecting. There was no trial, no judge, no jury. Just the brutal, swift justice of the range. Bothwell and his men seized Ella and Jim. Despite their pleas and defiance, they were dragged to a lone cottonwood tree in a desolate canyon. There, under the vast, indifferent Wyoming sky, the vigilantes committed their terrible act. They lynched Ella Watson and Jim Averil, silencing the two homesteaders who dared to dream of a small piece of the West for themselves. News of the double lynching spread like wildfire. But this is where our story of revenge truly begins. It wasn't a tale of six shooters at high noon, but something far more enduring. The people who knew Ella and Jim were horrified. The local community, which had been swayed by Bothwell's lies, was now consumed with guilt and outrage. The story was picked up by newspapers across the country. Suddenly, Ella wasn't the villain Bothwell had painted her as. She was a martyr, a symbol of the struggle of the common settler against the tyranny of the cattle barons. The public outcry was immense. The press dubbed Ella Cattle Kate, a name that, while born from slander, was now spoken with a mix of tragedy and respect. The story fueled the flames of the growing conflict between homesteaders and cattle ranchers, a conflict that would later erupt into the infamous Johnson County War. Bothwell and his men were arrested, a rare event for powerful men in the Old West. Although they used their influence and intimidation to eventually get the charges dropped, their victory was hollow. Their reputations were ruined. Bothwell, the powerful cattle king, was now seen as a murderer and a bully. His empire began to crumble, his name forever stained by the crime he committed in that lonely canyon. The legal system may have failed Ella and Jim, but history delivered its own form of justice. The public's memory became their avenger. The story of their love and their tragic end became a legend, a cautionary tale that highlighted the brutal realities of the frontier. It exposed the dark underbelly of westward expansion and gave a voice to the countless small settlers who were crushed by the powerful. Ella and Jim lost their lives, but their story helped change the very narrative of the West. They didn't get to build their ranch, but they built something far more lasting, a legacy. A legacy that proved that even in the lawless wilderness, the truth has a way of rising from the dust. Their love was extinguished by violence, but their story sparked a fire of change that would burn for decades. So the next time you watch a classic Western, remember the true stories like that of Ella Watson and Jim Averil. The real West wasn't just about heroes and villains in black and white hats. It was about real people, with real dreams, fighting for their piece of the American promise, sometimes paying the ultimate price. Their love story, cut short by greed and hate, ultimately found its revenge not in a hail of bullets, but in the enduring power of the truth. And that's a story more powerful than any Hollywood script. Thanks for joining us on this journey back in time. If you found this story as compelling as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more true tales from history. Let us know in the comments what you think about this incredible story. Until next time, stay curious.